Well, Massey Hall is excited to present the return of the annual New Year's Eve comedy extravaganza. The event will ring in the new year with live in-person comedians. And joining us live now with more is the curator of the show and Yuk Yuk's founder and Order of Canada recipient, Mark Breslin. Mark, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, although I was actually ordered to leave Canada, which is a bit different, but I stayed anyway.
Okay, well, we welcome you back into the studio after so many years of pandemic restrictions and not being able to do in-person shows. So this is exciting. We were chatting during the break and you said that, you know, this annual comedy extravaganza hasn't been at Massey Hall for 4 years now because of the pandemic and, of course, their renovation.
That's right. And it's a Toronto tradition. We've been doing it for 15 years.
Wow.
It's a great way to ring in the new year. And I know that this is a cliche, ring in the new year with laughter, but sometimes cliches have a reason for being. And it really is a great way to start a new year.
Yes, and you've curated the lineup yourself. I recognize some of the very funny comedians on the list. Don Kelly, very funny, as well as being hosted by a famous CBC Debaters alum, Steve Patterson.
And he is really funny.
He is.
He is really funny. I've worked with him so many times on so many big shows as well as little ones, and he's always great. Now, Don Kelly is interesting because Don Kelly, he's from Ottawa. We don't see him much anywhere across the country. He's got a great government job that he doesn't want to leave, but he is considered probably the most, he's probably the biggest Indigenous comic working right now. And, you know, it's so timely to have him on the show. It's a very diverse show. Yeah,
very diverse. I do recognize some of the other comedians in the show as well. Sabrina Douglas, who is, of course, a nurse. So she's, you know, one of the first responders, but also a comedian. Courtney Gilmore, Martha Chavez, as well as Kyle Hickey, Dave Burke. So talk about what you're hoping this New Year's show will do as kind of a comeback for comedy, because the comedy world, as well as all live performances, took a massive hit during the pandemic.
And we're all crawling back. I mean, the good news is we're crawling upwards, not downwards. It's not a downward slope, but we are crawling back, and it's a bit of a struggle. So this show, I think, at Massey Hall is a kind of bellwether that says, hey, comedy is back. It's back in a big way. It's back locally in a big way because everybody I've booked on this show is Canadian. It's an all-Canadian show, and it proves just how great Canadians are and Torontonians are at comedy.
Yeah, no, there are so many great Canadian Toronto comics, and they really deserve, you know, the star that they deserve, because so many of the time we hear about labor mobility going to the U.S., so it's really a time to highlight the talent here at home. And finally, Mark, I want to ask you about Yuk Yuk's, you know, 10 locations across Canada. You've been saying that it's been a slow return back. You know, during the pandemic, we saw shows on Zoom, virtual shows, social media, comics popping up there using whatever avenues they can get. So where do you see the future of live stand-up comedy?
Well, we're adding shows all the time, all across the country. And we want to get back to the number of shows. People always ask me the question, how many of your clubs stayed open after COVID? And the answer is almost all of them. But that's not really the metric you want to look at. The metric you want to look at is how many shows are we doing in those clubs? We want to get back to doing 5, 6, even 7 shows a week.
Okay, so slowly but surely.
And we're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're definitely getting there.
Okay.
Toronto first, probably, before that happens across the country, but for sure.
Awesome. Well, Mark Breslin, founder of Yuk Yuk's and recipient of the Order of Canada, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this comedy extravaganza and the return to Massey Hall.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Take care.
His kitchen confidential began at the age of 6. Cooking traditional Chinese dishes at home with dad and family. He graduated to becoming a junior chef contestant winner. Now he's a high schooler. Victor Chow's mission is Michelin stars, but it's also sustainability, and he joins me now with an amazing holiday 3-course feast. He's going to show us how it's all put together. Victor, thanks for joining us again on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Congrats on an already amazing career. Incredible. So you're a high schooler now. You've got a sort of an Instagram crusade going, right, to teach students and their parents how to make really healthy, delicious, high-end, but manageable, sustainable food that's sustainable, because that's a really important thing to you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Cooking sustainably is really important, especially around this, season where you're hosting a lot at home. Right. And it's really important to, think about the things that you're cooking, how much you actually need, and how many people you're going to be hosting.
Yeah, good points. All right, let's start with the app. This is Crab Rangoon. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is a Crab Rangoon. So the filling is basically mascarpone cheese, ricotta, your crab, your chives, your Old Bay seasoning, all wrapped into a nice dumpling wrapper and fried. It's like a really nice crispy bite that you can share with your family and friends at a gathering. And it's just super delicious.
That's a super popper right there. Would you serve that with any kind of sauce or just pop them as is?
I mean, I like them by themselves, but you can definitely have them with, your conventional sauces like ketchup if you really want.
I am down with ketchup. Yeah, I'm not fancy there or fussy. Now, the main looks incredible, and it's a beautiful thing here. This is lobster and zucchini linguine. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so this is the main dish that I submitted into a contest called Cheese for Change, which was a program founded by Trace Deli that gets youth more engaged in cooking sustainably in their kitchens.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is a lobster linguine with mascarpone cheese, bocconcini, linguine, and zucchinis. It's a really nice, festive dish. Obviously, there's lobster tails on it. It makes it an awesome dish all around. And yeah, just super cheesy and nice.
We eat with our eyes first, right? And plating is obviously very important to you, the whole package, isn't it?
Yeah, plating is one of the most important things to me. And I think that, especially for a contest like Cheese for Change, which these dishes were submitted into, you got to make them look awesome. And for your best dishes, you can win $500 if you're a student or $5,000 for your school, which is the best part of Cheese for Change, in my opinion.
Now, we'll get to your Instagram at the end and how people can be part of that. Mascarpone is kind of the running theme here. Now we're on to what I'm all about, because I don't have a sweet tooth, son. I have sweet teeth, this whole mouth. All it wants is sugar all day long. So tell us about your dessert. What have you got here?
Yeah, for sure. Right here we have a mascarpone cream cookie crumble dessert.
Okay.
And yeah.
That sounds pretty good.
It does indeed.
Baby.
So all of these ingredients, well, these two, the Sablé cookie crumble, which is made with basically a sugar cookie that gets crumbled up. And this is a mascarpone cream. Both are made with sustainable dairy ingredients.
Great.
And first, we're gonna go on with our cookie base. Now, this is a really nice, cookie, crumbly, buttery base.
A sugar cookie it is?
Yeah, that's correct.
You could use kind of whatever.
For sure. Whatever cookie recipes your family has around the holiday season. Next, we're gonna go on with this awesome mascarpone cream, which is made with whipping heavy cream into soft peaks. You're gonna add your vanilla, your sugar, your lemon zest, and then your mascarpone cream, which is, a really nice fluffy cheese.
Another nice layer.
Yep, another nice layer of this awesome Sablé crumble. And again, students, you can win $500 with your recipe submissions.
Awesome.
And schools can win $5,000.
You top that up, because we're running out of time and I must sample.
All right. So
now, I also remember that you're a bit of a golf prodigy too, right? Which one, are you going to end up like on the PGA Tour or Culinary Institute? Or could you do both?
I mean, I'm 14 right now, but we'll see. We'll see where I take my career.
All right, let's drop that drip. Tell us about your Instagram handle quickly and how people can check out more sustainable recipes with you, Tristella, the whole thing.
All right, I'm at Victor.foodadventures on Instagram. Check me out. And before you eat this, we just want to wish you an awesome retirement on behalf of Toronto.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, dessert time. Oh, man. You can hear it, right? Texture, sweet, a little bit of cutting with the cranberry. Delicious. You've got a future, kid.
For sure. Thank you.
Golf and in the kitchen.
Yes! He took his glasses off.
Oh, you okay?
Hey George, this is Matt. I am going to miss you. As someone who watches CP24 every day, I always loved the job you did. The humor, the fun, the serious. You pronounced names far better than I did. I always loved talking sports with you. It was always a blast. I'm sorry for horrible backgrounds. I'm sorry for all the magnets that would be on the fridge. I'm sorry for I'd be looking over here while talking about Austin Matthews. But all the best to whatever you do next. I can't wait to see what it is, George. Take care, cheers, and hopefully I can see you soon. All the best.
Matt Cause, the Wizard of Cause, TSN Radio. I got a quick little context for that last video. Couldn't see it, but up on the weather patio, that was Chris Potter.
Right.
Walking back in after doing a weather report, and I said to my cameraman, Aaron, watch this. I got a ball of tape. One shot, I'm going to hit Potter in the head. And I wound up from the top deck of the parking lot, and I nailed it. Went off the wall, hit him to the side of the head. Now, you really can't see it, but I knocked the glasses clean off his face.
Wow.
And he was kind of down for a second. It goes boom. And I was like, okay, I got him. And Aaron's like, I think you knocked his glasses off. And he was actually down. That was like 14 years ago or something. So I said, Potter, you have one clean shot at me anytime you want, anywhere you want. You can redeem it whenever you want. One clean shot.
Has he
He
done
never
it?
redeemed
He's
it,
never
no.
redeemed it.
So, Potter, you got till 9
wow,
o'clock.
George, you got an arm. Maybe you'd be a pitcher
I did have
after
an arm.
this. Okay.
Laser rocket arm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Or shot put, you know,
Something.
either one, something. Okay, so, you know, all morning long we've been asking you, our viewers, for memories of George Lagajanis or well wishes. So keep sending those in to now@cp24.com.
Nice, thank you.
And yeah, let's share some of those responses, George, from, you know, people who have watched you for years and years. This one comes from Peg, who writes, George has been a constant for many years as I start my day with CP24. All the best in retirement. He was one of my up-close memories with George was covering the 2012 Grey Cup parade when the Argos won in this photo taken just before Adriano Belli, a.k.a. the Kissing Bandit, jumped down from the truck and planted one of his famous kisses on George.
Yeah, Adriano Belli, about 6'5", 300 pounds of man. When he comes in for a kiss, you just say yes.
You just say
right?
yes.
What are you going to do? What a sweetheart.
Was it on the cheek, the lips?
I don't remember,
Okay.
but whatever he wanted. There he is. That's him, like, lounging on the top of the car.
Yeah. Oh,
denting the hood.
I see
Oh,
it.
big belly. Miss him. Yeah.
What a memory.
What a monster.
Yeah,
What
and
a
of
beautiful
course, George,
monster.
we know that you covered the championship parade route for the 2012.
Yeah, that was
win.
awesome. And the Argos win the Grey Cup every 5 years. They won in 2017, and then they just won this last year, and we hope they do it every year, not just every 5 years.
We'll see. Okay, George, thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Jen, and thanks,
We'll share more of
viewers.
you, George. We continue to celebrate George's amazing career with your memories right after this break. Stay tuned.
George Lagajanis, I love you. I'm in awe of you. I respect you so much. I'm so happy for you in making this decision. I'm sad for us because you leave a huge void, not only in the Canadian broadcasting landscape, but for anybody who's ever interacted with you as a colleague, as a friend, as somebody who's been interviewed by you. Up until a couple weeks ago, I was writing down one of the questions that you asked one of the actors you were interviewing on CP24 Breakfast, because you are just so mindful and prepped and have such a respect for your craft, and I admire that. I'll never forget the first time we met. I was answering phones for a local news station and the nation's music station, and you drove out and you parked your Much Music truck in the front, and there was about 2 or 3 receptionists behind the desk. I was one of them, and we were all like, ooh, George Lagajanis, George Lagajanis. And you had that little Superman curl, your hair, you know, you always have fabulous hair. And we just swooned, and we came to realize that you're just as beautiful on the inside as you are on the outside. So many memories with you, my friend. I think about me doing the 6 o'clock entertainment and you doing the 11 o'clock from RPM with Chris Shepard, or us hosting Caravana together for CP24 the whole day. Oh my gosh, that was great, in matching Peach Berserk outfits. You picked the orange and green, you know. But since then, your sartorial choices have been chef's kiss. I love you, George Lagajanis. I love you so much. I'm gonna miss you. Let's go for lunch, okay? And stay fabulous. Congratulations.
I wish I was there in person to congratulate one of the most beloved Canadian TV personalities, George Lagajanis. You are a class act, a true professional, and I'm grateful for the years we spent working together at 299 Queen Street West. George, congratulations.
Hey George, wow, retiring? I thought you were just getting started. I can still picture you as a newbie videographer scanning about for reflective surfaces to record a throw. But perhaps more memorable is your shiny outfits on Electric Circus. You had some moves, my friend. But those early days certainly led to a fine career in broadcasting. So congratulations on your retirement, George. It's so well deserved. Enjoy every minute.
Wow, George, when you see, you know, a video like that from, you know, your old boss.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, she taught me so much.
Right.
I mean, she was right there at the beginning of music journalism, you know, before Much Music, even with the new music, with John Roberts and others. And she ran Much Music for years, went on to head up Sony Records and do so many things in her life and career with her husband, Murray McLaughlin, who another Canadian music icon. She's a wonderful human being and very generous, taught me a lot.
Yeah, she talked about your shiny outfits, and you know they're not. Today's a little shiny with the velvet, but you know still very well dressed. I love this video because when we saw it in the boardroom, and I was like, you look like Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid.
With the puffy shirt.
Yeah, with
That's
the shirt
the
and the
90s.
nice hair.
Yeah. when it was,
so handsome.
when it wasn't a punchline, we actually wore them because they were en vogue.
History repeats itself, George.
It does, though. You're right.
It really does. Okay. So as you know, we've been asking you, our viewers, for memories of George all morning long or your well wishes. Keep sending those in. We love hearing from you now at CP24.com. Let's continue to share some of those viewer responses. Okay, George, this one comes from an Electric Circus alumnus who says, hey, George, it's your old pal Craig.
Craig
We
Halkett.
sure had fun in the 90s.
Yes, we did.
Just wish I could remember it.
That's what I say.
All I can remember is that your dad invented the sideburns in Greece
That's right.
and brought them to Canada.
It wasn't Elvis. My dad brought the sideburn to North America. That's what he always told us anyways.
Amazing. So many great years together on Electric Circus, a little debauchery, and a whole lot of fun. Gonna miss you.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
from Craig.
Craig was our floor director, and
Yeah.
and he did a bunch of other on-air stuff at Much Music. Great guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, miss him.
Sounds like a fun time.
Good times.
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
God.
there's a little picture from the early days. That's me probably circa 1992-ish, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
With the camera, not a prop, Jen. I had that thing on my
real
shoulder for
camera.
17 years, every day out there slugging around back when cameras were like the size of a small fridge.
A human, exactly.
Yeah.
Just wheeling it on your shoulder every day.
That was easy to stay in shape when you were lugging around a camera,
Yeah.
a bag of gear, a bag of lights, a tripod.
You
Hitting
did
the
it all,
streets and doing
George.
it all. I did.
Oh, we do have one more viewer response to you, George. This is from Christine, our viewer, who shares, I've watched George on CP24 for years. I remember George and his family when they lived in Walkerton, attended the same public school. Our family visited the family restaurant in Walkerton and Owen Sound.
Wow.
Good luck with the next chapter of your life. Do you remember Christine?
I do. I think I do. And
you
that
do,
was
okay.
our restaurant in Walkerton was called the Maple Leaf, and in Owen Sound it was called the Olympia. So my favorite Maple Leafs,
then
Olympia,
your favorite
typical Greek restaurant, right?
Okay.
Yeah, those were good times, right? It was the family business. I almost went into it, but probably better that I chose this instead.
Yeah,
it seems to have
restaurant
worked
industry,
out.
they're both hard. Both
They are
industries
tough.
are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this worked out.
It really did.
So
okay. George, we'll continue to celebrate you.
Hey George, it's Andre DeGrasse here. I just want to wish you congratulations on all your success. I've heard you've done amazing things, amazing job, and now it's time to head to retirement. So, enjoy it, have fun, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Hey George, it's your buddy Daryl Sittler here, and just want to say congratulations on a great career. We're going to miss you, and enjoy your retirement. Well deserved. Go Leafs go.
Snap, snap, blah, blah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Little sports.
Snap, snap, blah, blah.
George, you are a wordsmith, a super talent, someone who I admire and respect. You're such a hard worker, and we are gonna miss you. This is a huge loss for this business, but I'm happy for you. The time has come for all of us at some point to move on, and this is your time. You decided, you called it. I found out myself by talking to you. You want to go, so we support you. And I would say keep in touch, but I know you won't. So I do have your wife's contact information. I'll keep in touch with her, and that way I can keep in touch with you. Best of luck. I love you. Take care.
I love him too. And Nathan Downer knows me well. He's one of the first people that actually called me. Nathan's a pick up the phone kind of guy, right? Like honestly, as soon as the note went out, I'm at home. He calls me and starts giving me the business and telling me, I know you're not gonna call back, right? You're never gonna talk to me. Nothing. He just knows I'm not a pick up the phone kind of guy. Like, I don't call out. I receive calls occasionally. And he says, I'll stay in touch through Mary, my wife, because she did his mortgage.
Oh,
So
my God.
that way we'll stay in
That's
touch.
the connection.
But yeah, great guy. Got to start here, like many people have in this business, right? You look around
Right.
the landscape, not just Toronto, but around this country. CP24, man.
Absolutely.
He's one of the reasons I'm here. Him and Pooja both, talked me into coming over, and it was great to see.
Yeah, and we're all better for it. And look at how well Nathan's done, too, eh?
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
voice.
Oh, my gosh.
The voice.
The voice. He does have a voice.
Oh, my goodness. I'd
All
kill
right.
for that voice.
I know, and we want to hear your voices. In fact, we've been asking for your voices and your memories of George and your well wishes. So keep sending them in. You have about a little more than 30 minutes to now at CP24.com. In the meantime, let's share more of those responses.
Okay.
George, are you ready?
I'm ready for the love, or
Okay.
whatever it is.
For the love.
Bring
This
it
comes
on.
from Penny, who shares this image. It's you, George, saying, this was the very first time I met George. I must say what a wonderful person he was. Even though he was busy working, he still made time to stop to give a few minutes of his time to take a picture with us. Thank you,
Isn't that
George.
nice?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
These come
beautiful.
from Twitter. Donna says, no, he's not been on TV long enough. I feel old now. Don't retire. All right. Happy retirement. Going to miss seeing you on CP24.
That's nice.
Yes. And then next up, Jerry simply says, he's the GOAT, greatest of all time.
Wow.
And
Jer.
and this is from Shelley. Morning coffee won't be the same without you. I agree with you there.
I agree.
Congratulations. The world is your oyster, so you can have that with your steak cake. And
I do love oysters. I do.
Exactly.
Chris shares this. Always an absolute pro. He will be missed with incisive questions and a willingness to go deep on topics that matter. George was one of the best.
Of the best. DKPR says, that hair, that smile, your witty sense of humor, you will be so missed. The guests all loved you, and you were always well prepared. And that you are, George. Oh, there's
Jerry
you,
McCool.
Jerry. Yeah.
Jerry.
Jerry.
He's fun.
Friend of the show.
But yeah, I just want to, bounce off that point, George. When I
that's
first,
Mr. Mosley from.
oh yeah, from.
And more Jerry.
Jerry comes in like once a year usually, and has naps on the couch. And there's Daryl Sittler, my hero.
Yes.
Like I say, I've met world leaders and celebrities, A-listers, and everybody. It's only when sports stars come in do they get mumble-mouthed.
But you're always well prepared, George, and your professionalism is
there's
unmatched.
Do you know who that is?
Who is that? Oh, no, that is
Uh-oh.
my team.
Okay,
Guys,
keep
thanks
those
very much.
coming. We'll share more memories of George when we're back.
George, what can I say? I'm going to miss you so much. I have thought of you as an older brother from 30 years ago when I was a student in high school, and you mentored me, and I was able to come with you on amazing interviews such as the blues singer Joe Cocker, the R&B hip hop group Bass is Bass. It was so much fun times then. It was an amazing time when I came to CP24 officially, and you welcomed me with open arms and made me feel so comfortable. And even when you joined us on CP24 Breakfast, how happy I was to have you. Even it was just like family, and you were always family for me from 30 years ago till now and even beyond. I am so proud of you. I am so proud that I got to work with you and call you my work brother, my work family. I will miss you. I will encourage you for everything you are doing and you've done. Your professionalism, your genuine love for interviewing and talking to people and making them feel like amazingly the only person in the room and the only person that mattered in the interview. So good luck, George, with everything you do. I will miss you. I will miss that ball throwing behind the scenes and all the fun that we had behind the scenes as well. Good luck to you. Good luck to you and Mary. Love you so much. And I will see you soon, because it's not goodbye, it's see you soon. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Love you, George.
You of course know George Lagajanis, would it be Canada's premier videographer?
Well, I guess Much Music's only videographer, I guess, as it
Is
stands.
that right?
As it stands now, yeah, it's...
You know, George, as a videographer, do you ever get sore shoulders carrying that camera?
Yeah, you got to maintain really good posture, Dan, because if you don't, you'll be sorry for it in about a week.
This town really swings.
And that is Prince Eric, a.k.a. George. We've been taking a trip down memory lane all morning long, celebrating the one, the only George Lagajanis, because after a 36-year career in broadcasting, George Lagajanis, the man, is retiring today. It's his last show, his last broadcast here. So, George, you're here on the Couch of Truth.
That's
the Couch
what it
of Truth.
is.
You've deemed it the Couch of Truth. Any final words you want to say to us and everyone out there this morning?
Total alliteration.
Yeah. Don't make waves, ride them. How's that?
Ah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really easy to, to find problems in life and in work, but try and ride that wave instead of making them. That's just a little nugget of advice, but just quickly, I'm a guy that got really lucky in this business. I kind of stumbled into it. It wasn't really my plan. I got a degree because it was shorter in broadcasting, thought it'd be cool. Plans were for maybe science or law or something else. And boy, am I ever glad it worked out this way. 36 years, it's gone by in a blur. Some of the memories, like I told you earlier, I might need a psychic or a shrink to help me pull some of those out. But, I also never say never. You might see me someday down the line on a stage or the page or another screen. But it has been my distinct honor to share all these memories with all of you out there. in TV land, everybody I've ever worked with. For all these years, 36 years, I've done stuff over the course of 5 decades, which is hard to believe. 80s, 90s, the noughts, the teens and the 20s. And it's been the unique pleasure of my career in life to work in this place, because we get to be not just some place for people to tune in to get quick information, but we've become a service where people really rely on us for important things, especially through the pandemic. And I found that was that when people talk to me out there in the world, that's what they want to discuss, is how important it was for us to be here for them, especially through COVID. So I'm glad I got to be here for that as well. So thanks to everybody for all the beautiful wishes, to everyone, again, I've ever worked with, and everyone out there I've ever met, and that you've touched my life. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
well said,
cheap TV applause.
Always with words.
Now that we know you're leaving to become a surfer.
Yeah, that's right.
I got to tell you, you've made this a heck of a fun wave to surf and ride.
Thanks,
so
Bill.
Thank you, George.
Well
and, you know, George, the one thing that you mentioned you wanted to do last time was a dance party for one last time. So in true Electric Circus fashion, we're dancing to California Love for a Dance Party Thursday. Let's do it.
You know I like
Come on, George.
Track. When did I request this track?
Oh, I'm not telling you that.
Oh, yeah.
The groove.
Groove. It's a very slow song to dance to.
It's very sultry, George. You're wearing the right velour for that. Oh, yeah. You're going to coin the wave. We're riding the wave with George. Riding the wave.
Riding the wave. Riding the wave.
And I think
we're relying on Viz. Oh, there we go.
She kind of looks like you in a distance with that outfit. Yeah, right.
I know.
Hot pink.
I think that's G. In Montreal.
Oh, hey, G, rocking it out.
I thought that was you up there.
No, right. I'm in 2 places at once.
Mika Modolo dancing in the party. Groove.
Keep it going. Keep it going. That's Lisa. And G.
Awesome.
And another G.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
There's the man that'll keep the dance
Hasn't
alive.
changed his shirt in like 3 months.
He's not even dancing to music, is he?
No.
He doesn't need to. There's always a song going on, Cam said. Wow. Sure. Yeah. So how would you narrate through it if this was Electric Circus? Would you just point out our dancing?
Would you just point at our dancing? Are we doing a good job?
Awesome.
Are we doing a good job?
Thank you so much.
Okay, George,
Folks,
we love you.
It's been a slice.
Love you, George. We love you so much.
Yay.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, we're going to leave you.
I'll keep my eye on you, too.
Please
Don't you
do.
worry.
You're a legend. Montage of George up next. Stay tuned for that. More news.
Well, 2022 was arguably one of the biggest so far in the next phase of humanity's attempts to better understand what's out there in the cosmos, and someone who really understands that is joining us now for the year that was in space exploration. Jesse Rogerson, assistant professor at York University. He's also an astrophysicist. He's got a big brain, folks. That's pretty much what we're saying when we introduce Jesse Rogerson. And he's here this morning to talk more about what happened in space. Jesse, good to see you here. What's the top space story in your mind for 2022?
Oh, well, speaking as an astronomer, I have to say that the James Webb Space Telescope was probably the biggest story of the year. It's truly like the next generation telescope. It's the past 30 years were dominated by the Hubble Space Telescope, which completely transformed our understanding of space. And now we have the next generation. It's a bigger telescope. It observes a different portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. It's an infrared telescope, which means it sees different light than the Hubble does. And it was built. Here's the interesting thing about JWST. Back when Hubble was launched in the early 90s, we didn't know that exoplanets existed. We had no proof that they existed. But JWST was built specifically to observe exoplanets. So you can see the change that has happened in 30 years. And it's already, the science that has come back this year has already been really, really exciting. So it's going to be a great next 2023.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Jesse, and do we have a sense of how much more there is to find? You know, like how much are we seeing versus how much are we not seeing or still to see potentially?
Yeah, when it comes to exoplanets, it's just the tip of the iceberg. They're just starting to flex the muscles of the JWST, in particular about atmospheres. So we have since learned that exoplanets existed, but the problem is that all we've been able to really learn about them is their size, a little bit about their density, maybe knowing if they're terrestrial or if they're gaseous, but understanding what their atmospheres are all about has been really hard to do with current tech. And with JWST launched, now we're starting to say, oh, that atmosphere is this thick with these different chemicals in it. Some of them have water, some of them have carbon dioxide, and they're just getting started. And there are thousands and thousands of exoplanets. So we're just getting started.
Yeah, we're going to learn so much more. That really is exciting to think for 2023 and beyond. Indeed, Jesse. In the meantime, there was a lot of talk, a lot of headlines about Artemis this year too.
Yes, Artemis, and again, another next generation thing, because you had all of the Apollo era that happened in the 60s and the 70s, putting humans on the ground on the moon. And we haven't gone back since. We've been focusing on low Earth orbit. And now humanity is ready to go back to the moon. And the very first mission in that program, the Artemis program, launched. It did a successful test flight where no humans were on board, but they went to the moon, they orbited the moon, they came back. They tested everything from the rocket to the spacecraft, to the systems, to the computer tech, the energy needed, the landing, everything was tested. And so far, it looks like everything went not only flawlessly, but better than expected, which means we are now poised to do the next mission in the Artemis program, Artemis 2, probably in 2024 sometime.
And would Artemis 2 potentially, Jesse, have live astronauts on board or still those crash test dummy astronauts?
That's right. Artemis 2 is all about sending humans back to the moon. It's the exact same mission profile as Artemis 1. So it's there to the moon, orbit around the moon, and come back. Right. But it would have humans on board. And a super exciting part of this is that one of those humans is going to be a Canadian astronaut. We have 4 active astronauts in the Canadian Astronaut Corps. One of them is going to be on that mission.
Oh, can you imagine being picked for that? That'd be pretty awesome. Also, the DART mission is something we got to talk about, Jesse, for 2022. There was so much involved there.
This is why this year has been such an interesting year. The DART mission was the first time that we deliberately changed the trajectory of a celestial object. It's a tiny little spacecraft that smashed into a little asteroid with the goal to try and change its trajectory. And the reason we did it is to test out technology to try and move asteroids out of hitting Earth in the future. If we ever in the future find an asteroid that is heading towards us, we want to have the technology and the ability to recognize that and move it from hitting us. Yeah. So this was the first step. The asteroid that it hit had no chance of hitting us and never will have a chance of hitting us. But it was a good demonstration. The thing is the size of like an appliance, like a small washing machine or something. They smashed it into an asteroid, and the asteroid actually did change its course just a little bit, showing that we have the ability to do this. So that's really tantalizing for the next 30, 40 years of space exploration.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Makes us feel a little bit safer here on planet Earth as we think we could defend ourselves a little bit. And Jesse, the great thing about this conversation, we didn't mention any billionaire space race at all until maybe just now. So anyway, that was 2022. We'll look forward to chatting with you in 2023. Have a great Happy New Year, Jesse. Great to talk to you.
You too. Happy New Year.
Take care.